Good morning and welcome to a day in my life as a fourth year at the University of Chicago. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoy this video. And I started off the day by just going through my basic routine, which vaguely consists of making my bed, opening up my shades, getting my vitamins, getting dressed. I had woken up around 6:30 in the morning, so this was probably all just before 7 a.m. I am doing my French activities right now because I want to head to the library this morning, but it doesn't open until 8 in the morning. So I am in here for the time being. I've been enjoying French so much. This is my first time ever taking it. So it's just a first time course, but it's designed for Romance speakers because I've taken Spanish, so it kind of builds upon the pre-existing knowledge the students in the class have regarding the cognates and conjugations and everything of speaking another Romance language. Coincidentally, everyone in the class speaks Spanish, so that's kind of useful. I have a few more quizzes to do and an oral activity for today to get accustomed to listening to people in French. So I just listened and I typed it in. Then I got ready to go out, and ever since the winter quarter has started, it's been necessary to wear a hat and often a scarf too, but not this day. So because I was going to be attending some events later in the day, I did dress up a little bit more maybe than I might usually. I wore tights, a black skirt, and then a waistcoat over this Oxford button down. I'm not going to be back in my room for about 13 hours today, so it's going to be a very long day out. I'm first headed to Mansueto. That's the only time I ever go to Mansueto, is when it's in the morning, because otherwise it's so busy. Oh my gosh, it's slushy and slippery out. It's kind of sleeting right now. I feel like I'm going to fall. So I'll update you once I'm in Mansueto, but yeah, it's going to be a 13-hour day out, 2 classes, 2 events I've got to go to, lots of stuff. For those of you who may not be familiar with the reg, if you're planning on coming here but haven't been here yet, it basically consists of Mansueto, which is like attached to it as an annex almost. So the reg itself has 5 levels, and the bottom one right here, this is where people do collaborative study, so it's a little bit more noisy. Mansueto and the rest of the floors are silent study floors. I arrived right at 8 a.m. when it opens, so this right here, as you can see, is pretty much dead. There are all sorts of tables to choose from, but if I were to show up even just a couple hours later in the middle of the day, all of these are full. Mansueto, it's simply impossible to get a seat at a table by yourself if you're in the middle of the day. So if I ever do come here, it's going to be in the morning, and that's just because I don't do well if there's someone sitting right near me and I can hear every single thing that they're doing or typing on their laptop. I got some work done on my thesis this morning, which I felt really good about. I'm at the stage where I'm finally able to transfer my research into actual writing itself, which is a really exciting stage just because the research process takes so long. And because I'm doing a creative writing major, I thought that it would be easier maybe to do the thesis, but it really feels like a majority of the work is research, and only a tiny portion of it is fabricating fictional worlds and characters and everything. But on this day, I did get to kind of enjoy that latter part of the process. So I worked on just polishing up a chapter and kind of preparing, because I had my thesis workshop later in the day and I wanted to be ready to kind of discuss it and go about fixing just my outline in general so I have a better idea of where it's going. I look kind of ridiculous right now, I'm so sorry. I'm headed to my first class, and it's a history class. So the reading that we're going to be discussing today, there are actually 3 readings. They're about different women in like early modern times, Middle Ages, who have been scholars. One's about these 2 Italian women who were scholars, wrote letters to Galileo and everything. Another one's about like women in Islamic history who have been in science. So it's going to be an interesting reading, I think, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. So I said I was headed to my first class, and I am, but I still actually have an hour until my first class. So for the time being, I'm going to finish up my French homework, and then I'm also going to work on my thesis. Okay, scratch that. I just finished my French quizzes, but I do not feel like writing in my thesis right now. So I'm going to read instead. reading The Mayas. I don't know how to pronounce the author's name and I should figure that out, but I'm reading like books around the world with my mom, and this one's from the Iberian Peninsula. It's set in Lisbon, so this book is covering that area of the world on the book list. It's a long one, it's labeled as a classic, and it reads as one as well, but I'm loving it. It kind of reminds me, I keep thinking someone's coming. It's almost all men in this book so far. And when there is a female character, she's kind of dragged through the mud a little bit. But I still love it. It's still really well written and well translated too, I think.
That was great.
This is definitely one of the stranger classrooms I've been in. It feels like I'm in a warehouse, and I don't like that I'm the only one here. I want someone else to show up. I've already moved seats because this is a 3-hour class, and I want an outlet. Hello. How are you? It's finally snowing instead of raining. I don't know if you can really see it though. I'm headed to Kathy for supper, so I'm going to go do that, and then I'm going to go to a creative writing event, and then after that, a concert for a French cultural activity. Either the next video that I publish after this one, or the following one after that, I'm going to do a rating of the dining halls because it occurred to me I've never really talked about them very much. And I wanted to do kind of like an expose, I guess, on my thoughts on all of them. So stay tuned for that. But I went to Kathy this night for supper. I don't remember exactly what I got actually, but I usually just get food at the vegan station. They always have a good variety of options, but I tend to just go for the plant-based stuff. I don't know yet how well the snowflakes are gonna show up on video, but it's coming down really hard right now and it's really big flakes. But now I'm on my way to Classics Building, and the author is Ling Ma. She actually taught here for a while, not anymore, but she published a novel called Severance, and it's gotten a ton of acclaim, so I'm really excited to see her read and to see the Q&A and everything. So, oh my gosh, a snowflake just went right in my eyeball. My hands are freezing, so I'm gonna put my phone away. The reading was located in the Classics Building, and it was really enjoyable. I actually realized I didn't talk about it at all in the rest of this video, but she read from her book of short stories. The piece she read from was called Peking Duck. It dove into a very strong narrative voice that kind of grapples with losing a first language, and then also at the end during the Q&A, she talked a lot about her writing process, like how she kind of came to be a writer. So it was just very useful where I'm working on my thesis right now to kind of hear this wisdom from her, from someone who's seasoned and has written a book before. So I really enjoyed it. And then of course the concert, which was absolutely fantastic.
With this trio sonata repertoire, so with 4 instruments playing sonata for 3 parts.
I am finally back in my dorm. I'm going to shower quickly and get ready for bed because I'm going to watch Echo tonight, which is a new Marvel show, and Daredevil is supposed to be in it. Daredevil right there on my wall. That is like my #1 obsession, this television show, Daredevil. And basically the main character of it is going to be in this new show, Echo. This is the actor that I got to meet at Comic-Con just over a year ago. So I am so excited. My hope is that the show is really good. The dorms are kept at such a warm temperature, and I can't control the heat, so it just spews heat constantly, which is really frustrating and a waste of energy. I swear they keep it at like 72 or 73, and you'd think that running a fan in the window would make the room cold because it's winter in Chicago. This heater is on so high, and I cannot turn it down. Like, I cannot manually turn this thing down. But blowing the air in through the window all night long, the room doesn't get cold. Like, It's absurd. It's also just occurred to me that I neglected to report on how the concert was, and it was phenomenal. They didn't expressly tell us that we couldn't record, but I didn't dare share anything capturing via video their actual performance because it just didn't feel right. I feel like you're not really supposed to do that kind of thing, so I didn't do it. But the group, they do Baroque European music, and there was a violin, a viola, a harpsichord, and a cello. Their name was Les Consorts, pardon the French. I'm still working on my pronunciations. It's been a while since I've attended an orchestra, and they blew everything out of the water. It was really good. So if you have a chance, look up the group on YouTube because they're just really talented and they deserve views. This show is so good. Like, I'm excited that Daredevil's gonna show up, but even if he didn't, the show is so good. Hi, future editing Michaela right now, and I just realized that the last clip that I filmed for this vlog that I'm editing right now, right here, I had my retainers in, and I didn't even notice, and I sound awful with retainers. So here's my impromptu ending to the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.